Hello and welcome to the live Q&A for Grow with Evelyn. Today I have quite a few questions submitted. If you're watching live from the community, you can drop a question in the chat. I will try to catch as many as I can during the time that I have. If you are a premium or VIP member and you have submitted your question, then you have priority and you are guaranteed to have your question answered here. All right, so I want to start with Andrea's question, which I'm answering. Okay, audio is working. I'm answering around the 1 minute mark. And this is Andrea right here. Okay, so the question was, I'm an established business owner based in Switzerland with an existing Shopify store where I sell all of my programs and products in Swiss francs. I'm currently building a new community on Skool with a low-cost monthly membership. I'd like to keep the customer experience and bookkeeping as simple as possible. I would love for people to subscribe through my Shopify store in Swiss francs, then automatically receive access to the private Skool community. The membership includes a monthly live Oracle session, all my replays, archetype quiz, and the community itself. And I'd like everything to be as automated as possible. I'm unsure whether Shopify and Skool work well together for recurring memberships. If someone cancels their monthly subscription in Shopify, will their access to Skool be removed automatically, or is there another workflow that works better? Since my business is based in Switzerland, all pricing, VAT, accounting, and bookkeeping need to be handled in Swiss francs, so charging directly in US dollars in Skool isn't ideal. Would you recommend using Shopify as the subscription and payment platform with Skool as the community platform, or would you use Skool's own payment system instead? If Shopify is the better option, what is the most reliable way to automate success and removing members through Skool when they cancel their subscription? So this is a lot of great questions. Now, Skool is currently working on international currencies, and once that is in place, I would 100% go through Skool. In general, I would go through Skool because Skool acts as your merchant of records. So you get a weekly payout, and that is basically what you're giving to your accountant. So Skool and Skool payments have made my accounting extremely simple. The fees are lower than anywhere else I found. So on Stripe, I paid 5.9% payment fees. On Skool, I pay 2%. And also, when you collect Skool payments, you have the member management included, because even if you have integrations set up, removing a member from a Skool community because their payment ends outside is going to be a manual task where you will have to hire someone to do it for you. So that's something that I don't recommend. It's something I had when I had my memberships on Facebook communities. And at the end, I had probably like hundreds of freeloaders in the communities, and we were not able to remove them anymore just because they would have changed their name or email, and it would just be really, really hard for us and a lot of manual work and cost involved to do the member management. So I highly recommend, when you can, please use Skool payments. They will have it in the local currency. And for your accountant and accounting, it should be simple enough because you really just deal with this one weekly payout. And Skool is your merchant of records, and they are doing the VAT, etc. for you, which also for me, for example, was a major advantage because I paid, I think in the first year where I've grown a lot, I paid over $60,000 in just tax due diligence, making all of the sales tax numbers, finding out where I have to pay how much. In many kind of states, it cost me more to get the accounting and everything set up than the tax I would pay. Like I would pay $500 in accounting and registration fees, and I would owe $30 in tax, but still, you got to pay it. So Skool takes that sales tax VAT off for you, which is why I recommend it. And because they have the international currencies coming really soon, I would definitely try to collect Skool payments. It will make it more seamless and easier for you to manage overall. If you're doing it outside of Shopify, you want to use Zapier as the integration to get them into your Skool. Again, removing them from your Skool will be a manual process. So all right, now who is next up here? Hi, good morning. Hello, thank you for being here. Hi, Lauren. Hi, Melissa. How's it going? Hi, Sabine. Good morning. Happy Friday. Hello, hello. Oh, calling in from Hawaii. Oh, so thank you so much for joining. Hi, Adriana. How's it going? You have a blank screen? Hopefully not. Still? Hi. Hello. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Hi, Dimitra. How's it going? Good morning, Paula. I submitted a question just trying so I know if you go in order. Okay, perfect. Let me catch the question and answer it around the 5-minute mark. Where are you? I'm going to tag you in the community. So let's go. What you got for me? Current situation is we've reached a pretty stable point with ads sitting on an average cost per acquisition of $100 with a lifetime value of $250 and investing about 1/4 of the community MRR each month. Obviously, the goal is a lower than average CPA, but since we're investing only 1/4 of the MRR, we have $7K saved from the flash sale we did a few weeks ago. We have no cash flow issues, and we're comfortable seeing the return of this month's ads in 2 to 3 months. We're also trying to implement a new system to test 100 creatives per month. The goal here is to increase the testing volume, which I feel is the biggest bottleneck right now. My desired situation is getting things to the next level, either increasing sales volume with roughly the same CPA or lowering CPA. My problem is that I struggle to scale high volume campaigns. They always start underperforming before I have new winners to add, and target cost bid cap campaigns don't make us a lot of sales. I've been duplicating every testing campaign into target cost one, and every one once in a while I launched a bid cap campaign with only winners. I also been adding winners to the target cost campaigns, but nothing seems to push them to more spend. My question is, would you recommend changing anything about this approach? Yes. Maybe relaunching target cost campaigns that already seem to have hit a plateau. Maybe I should simply wait and see how the increased volume affects performance, but I was wondering if there's something I should change or adapt in the strategy. Beautiful question. So you are at a point where you need to focus on two things in your account, okay? So the first thing, let me just do this in Canva. Okay, you need to focus on two things right now. Okay, this is just a line. Let's not get too excited. Okay, so number one is you need to focus on multiplying winning creatives across formats, right? So multiply winners across formats. And this is something you have to do like really, really smartly and deliberately. So let me give you an example of this. I think I did a reel on it. Just give me a second here on this one. So I can really show you, or it should just be visible in the ads library. So what I want you to do now is identify your winning ads and then make a hypothesis about why it works well and make new formats with it. So for example, if I go here, and you see that this is, if you want to, let me just see if I can make this bigger. If you want to fill your Skool before you launch, I want you in this challenge. Look at my second winning ad. So it's also the same message if you want to fit, but it's just on a B-roll, right? We see? You see this one? Also just on a B-roll. And I did have a couple more. I had a talking head one with the same message. So you want to now just go and you want to say, what is the message of my winning ad and how can I multiply it across as many formats as possible? And when you think about the formats, right, B-roll reel is one short form format, but there is talking head, there's split screen, there's the clone format, right? So try to really go and duplicate it across as many image formats as well as video formats as you can, right? And image formats are basically in Everads you see under the layouts, these are different image formats, right? So the big image with text overlay, the Polaroid frame, the split screen, you have it on a phone. So try to multiply it, and there's a format and there's also a style. So please also try it in different styles as well. And it's not true that Meta will dismiss it just because it's a different style. You really want to hammer the winning ads a lot more and change the format. And even if you can see this here, there's just the B-roll of me changed and it still spends, right? So if you think of about my top spenders here, these two allowed me to duplicate the volume of this one. So this is something you want to do now relentlessly, basically, on one hand. On the other hand, you need to think about advertising the things that are inside your community. And really, I did this today for Everads News. I showed how I'm taking the latest workshop I did and how I multiplied use the content of the workshop as topics and then multiply those into ads to find a new one. So you can go into every single one of the recordings that you have inside of the classroom, and you can use that as context for ads to have new callouts and new angles, as well as you can use community posts that are really good, right? So for example, ads organic both, right? So this is a great question. I can use this as an angle to create more ads. So that's the two things that you need to do. One is multiply winners across format, and the other one is community content, community and classroom content for more ads, right? So here you're basically trying to break into short form as much as you can, and you multiply it across the different formats. Here you try to find more image ads that you can then also multiply. And right now I would recommend that you mostly work only with high volume campaigns. Don't bother too much about duplicating them over, and then keep your existing target cost and bid cap campaigns, and just whenever something comes through from the high volume, take the Facebook post with the post ID and add it to those campaigns and start filling them up until they start spending. Okay? That will be the next step. Hi, Amanda. Oh, no, you're in Serbia. How's it going? Hi. Hey, from Vienna. Not too far away. In 1 month today, I will be traveling to Vienna. Oh, that's beautiful. So submission is here in the classroom. You can always see it here under the Q&A. It's for VIP members, and then you can submit here. If you're not a VIP member, if you have a question, drop it in the chat. I'll always try to get as many chat questions as I can, but I cannot guarantee that I will get to it. Okay, so next up, let me see who else submitted. Oh, Amanda, I think submitted and is on the call. Now I just have the name Amanda, but I don't know which Amanda. So we'll have to figure that out. Let's get another question in the meantime. Let's get Lorraine here. And I'm answering around the 14-minute mark. Okay, my situation. I help high-achieving, overwhelmed women who keep starting over, overthink, and letting family patterns derail their plans they make for themselves. I'm launching a 14-day cohort experience that serves as the foundation for my methodology, which with each cohort beginning on a Saturday, graduating together 14 days later. My desired situation is I want the experience to be transformational for participants while remaining simple and repeatable to operate as it grows. My goal is to create a strong cohort experience that naturally graduates into an ongoing community if they want continued support. I love that. My current plan is to reuse the same Skool community for each cohort by enrolling the new group before Saturday kickoff, running the 14-day experience, then graduating and removing everyone before resetting the next cohort. I feel good about the flow, but I'd love a second set of experienced eyes to identify any operational blind spots before I build around it. My question is, if you were building this today, would you change anything about this operational model? Are there any friction points or scaling concerns that you think I should address before launching? Really excellent question. Let me just think it through. I just want to see one thing. My current plan is to reuse the same Skool community for each cohort by enrolling the new group before the Saturday kickoff, rerunning for then graduating and removing everyone before resetting the next cohort. Do I see any issue with that? I don't think so. I also think it's good to have the same Skool community. The only thing I see potentially problematic is, okay, so once they're out of the group, then they're basically, you remove them, you still have the email address. So I would make sure you have everyone's email address. In the onboarding, it's clear for everyone that this will happen. And there is some sort of offboarding message and next steps, which you can do with auto DMs on Skool as well. So I believe that there shouldn't be any issue with that, as long as you are making it really, really clear in the onboarding that this will happen, and as long as there's an offboarding message with any other questions that they have. The only other thing that I wonder is, will they want to have ongoing access to materials? And if so, how would you provide that to them? And probably also, as your cohorts evolve, you will unlist those cohorts, and then you will want to keep the repository basically of those recordings. So that can be done in the same Skool community. Yeah, the only thing I would consider is, how would you like to give them access to resources beyond the program? And how do you want to keep track of things you might have overhauled from cohort to cohort? But that's it. That is the only thing that I would consider. So I would probably just create a nice delivery sheet for them, where I would drop links to any recordings, etc., that they should have access to after. So from that perspective, probably if you're doing calls, I would make an unlisted live stream on YouTube, so you can provide the unlisted link to them, and I wouldn't host everything inside of Skool if you're providing access to the resources after. That's the only thing I can think of. And the other thing is that some people might not be ready to continue immediately after the cohort into the membership. So I think if I was in your shoes, I would just consider, is there any sort of dwelling space for them where I can give them ongoing access to, because that would make it easier if you had another hobby community where after that you're basically graduating them into that community, that hobby community, where you can also make all categories, so only you can post. So it's really just like a resource hub, but you can re-engage them in there, and you can, once your delivery is done, you can use the course key for that cohort, add it for them inside of that hobby community and give them manual access to all of the recordings. So then it will be easy for you from a file management, but you're also creating this dwelling space for them where you can re-engage them easily. It's very, very hard to re-engage people with traditional email, but it's easy to re-engage them in a community. So I think comparatively easier, right, to re-engage them in a community. So I think I would just have a second hobby plan community to create a dwelling space and resource hub from where I would re-engage them. Then you don't have to mess around with unlisted YouTube videos, etc. It's going to be easy for you from the cohorts file management as well. And, then you can run a promotion into the membership, etc., because all of these people have been through the cohort. It's going to be nice for them to have ongoing access to the resources. So those are the only things I would consider. Hi, Mark. Sorry, my husband needs a charger. No worries. Okay. Thank you. Keep me posted, okay? How it goes. If we create a VL campaign for $20 a day and we put them out to a new scaling campaign, validation campaign, I believe, and we put them out to a new scaling campaign after 72 hours, how much would you increase the price? And generally, what are the price increase by rules we can follow? So when you have a validation campaign and you have it at $20 a day and it works well, then you basically want to keep increasing in not too high jumps. From 20, you can go to 50, no problem. 50, 75, 75, 100, 100, 125, 150, 200, 250, 300. So 400, 500. And then you can move to 750, 1,000, etc. Right? So that's typically how I'm scaling a high volume campaign. If the profitability, the ROAS is there, right, and we are within our target cost. When you say duplicating it into a scaling campaign, as long like you do the same thing with your scaling campaign, like I just said, if it's a high volume campaign, if it's a target cost or bid cap campaign, then your budget just should be higher anyways. 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, you will not spend that in any case. So there you just have your bid cap, which should be the actual cost per purchase you're willing to pay, and your target cost should be 30% below that. Thank you. All right, I'm just starting to test this $24 product and searching for market validation. How much should my daily spend be? $24 to $50. Is it okay if I spend 25 a day for 72 hours? And should I spend 50 for 72 hours? If you spend 50, you have stronger signal, but you can also do 25. You have a bit weaker signal, but I also like, especially if you are in the very beginning, I rather have you spend 25 and run more, like one more iteration, right, than spending 50 for 72 hours. So go with the 25 for now. So you have can do another iteration after if you need to. How you multiplied the workshop in EverAd's news from today? That was how you multiplied the workshop in EverAd news from today? That was the exact question I needed to hear today. I think you saw it. I'm not sure if you saw it, but basically I just pulled the workshop transcript and then I created a new offer going through all the steps like I usually would in EverAds, and then I created the ads from there. So just upload your transcript of whatever you have done and then go through the typical steps in EverAds and upload your current community branding as the visual style. That's it. Let me know if you have any more questions about that. I didn't get a chance to submit the form as I only finished the draft a few hours ago, but could you have a look if you have a minute? Share it below. I'll try to catch as much as I can. How would you set up a campaign for freemium with the new price plan entry, and what price rule should we follow for a new validation campaign? Basically, now I would also use freemium with a sales campaign optimizing for purchase, and I would put 1 to 3 times the price of the freemium tier as the campaign budget. And you just now treat it like a campaign for a paid or tiered Skool community, basically. It's the same process. I'm brand new to online entrepreneurship and currently I have zero budget for ads. But what's a good point to set my sights on members wise for when I should consider starting ads? So I always say that you need to use ads in the beginning only for validation to know if you are on the right track. And typically between 2 to 3 times the price of your community. Ideally, you start just with, here, if the offer is $25, you can do between 1 to 3 times the price of the front-end offer. If you have, for example, a $7 community, I recommend to go $14 to validate your community. And then you only do it for 72 hours. It's just so you get the first data. And then you only start to spend more if you're actually seeing the sales coming in. So although I teach ads, I don't teach people to spend a lot of money on ads really, really quickly. I teach them in a way that you're mostly using them to get market feedback and the first social proof as quickly as possible, because that's a big hurdle to jump over and people can get stuck at this for years. And then only once you see the traction, you will start to invest more in the ads. For most people, the really critical point is to get something that has product to market fit. Because once you are at that stage, everything is easier. So that's where we want to focus with the ads. And then it's always a really, really small budget. Thank you. If it's a $47 yearly for premium plan, for freemium, it would be 2 to 3 times the yearly, right? Yes. So if you're doing, you can go as low as $50 a day on this, because it's also the yearly price and it's between 1 to 3 times. So I would do 50 for 72 hours minimum. Yes, 100%. And what you would want to do here is just using the method that I shared to validate the niche against existing demands. So I shared this skill last time with everyone, using that skill as the base, the entry point builder. So you're not, shooting in the dark, but you actually are going off existing demand, using that cloud skill as a starting point, and then going from there would be the recommendation. And I know it's really, really hard. In the beginning, it just all goes slow. I always compare it to if you build a watch, right? You have to put all of the finicky pieces together for the watch to work at all. And what is so hard for beginners is to trust that once you have all of the pieces together, the watch will eventually work, because it's like in the beginning, you have to piece all of the pieces together for it to have a minimum outcome, right? But it's hard for people to see that through, because they don't think like in that way. It's like, I have to assemble a machine, and only when all parts are connected can it start to work at least a little bit, and then we can start to improve it. So that is the really hard phase where you just have to stick out, building one piece at a time, assembling, right? And not losing the faith that you are on the right path. Because what happens here otherwise is that people are like, oh, I've already built this piece, and I already built that piece, and I already built that piece, and it's not clicking, right? So I must be doing something wrong. So let me switch to something else. And then you start to build this piece again and that piece again, and then oh, it's not clicking, something must be wrong. When it's just like, no, you're a few pieces away from this to click. Which is also, sometimes people buy the third course and suddenly it takes off for them, right? Versus for other people in that course, it doesn't take off. It's like you were missing that piece, right, in your thing. And it's also hard when you are a course provider, because you obviously try to give people everything you needed, but you might be unaware of pieces you already brought into the equation. So just really, really stick it out. Trust the process. Keep going. Use every single piece of feedback as evidence that you are on the right path, and just stick one thing through long enough to have real traction. Because once you have something built, it's also going to be easier to say, is this for me or not? And if you then want to switch to a different opportunity, you're already going in with a lot more assets and a lot more knowledge and a lot more skills. So hard part, but please stick it through. Okay, Ruda, I'm catching your question. Let me just check. Around the 30-minute mark. Ruta, where are you? Yes. Oh, no. Emily said that there's the wrong link, I think, set up. I don't know even how to get there, so... Let me just make sure I'm letting my team know. Okay, I tried to see if they can come out. I can't even enter that room. All right, so I'm sorry, Ruta. Let me answer your question here. Okay, so my school is built with Ruta. I have 3 plans. I'm so sorry. I think I need to see if I can at all get into this Q&A. So I could end it for people. I don't see it, unfortunately. I'm so sorry. This was a setup error. Okay, Ruta. So you have 3 plans, 7 a month, 37 a month, 197 for the year. Your traffic channels are Meta ads and Instagram organic. You run ads to tier 1 countries plus India. Please go through so my questions: how do I fix my free trial conversion rate? Going through the traffic challenge, I finally figured out my main issue. Customer acquisition cost is 145 and my lifetime value is 137. So you are losing money, yes, with every customer. How do you fix that? My payback period is 11.5 months. This is the biggest problem because I cannot scale ads and I cannot have the cash flow for growth. I know you're recommending doing one-to-one sessions to cash flow it. How would you recommend integrating it with the Skool community? And is that the only option? Because as a new mom, I want my schedule flexibility. For how do I generate more excitement in my community for people to implement, engage, check out the community daily? I know it's a longer process, but any tactical tips would be helpful. Because the monetary commitment is less, I think people lose interest and bounce, especially colder audiences. Any suggestions you think will help my stats? In the last Q&A, you mentioned doing YouTube videos for retention. How do they help? Can you please elaborate? Absolutely, I can elaborate. Now, for the free trials, this is in general right now an issue across Skool because more people are switching to free trials. So what Sam will announce on Tuesday is changes to the free trial where you can lock certain lessons and classrooms and people can unlock them when upgrading. So that should massively help with the trial conversion rate. I also would make sure, Ruta, that you're starting to separate out your campaigns by the countries. And so you basically should be looking at the campaign profitability and performance by the different countries. Now, you're spending at the moment, unfortunately, way too much for the customer. So I would at this point pause all of the ad campaigns and reset and test with validation ads from scratch. Because what this tells me is that we are not operating on a sophisticated, validated community positioning. So I would love for you to actually go through the Skool positioning challenge and really test, make another round and do your validation test run, right? So this is here in the classroom, Skool positioning challenge. I would love for you to go through and I would turn off all current ads. If these are your stats, you shouldn't be spending more money on ads, right? Because you're literally losing money. So turn them off, go through this process until you have a validated community positioning. And from there, we want to scale out. I don't recommend that you are testing in both countries right away. I would go with the country that you know from the past, or with the countries that you know from the past data are your most profitable ones, and I would try to zoom in on that one, on that country specifically, whether it's the US or India or maybe it's Canada. Just try to go with one country and really try to nail the positioning before you are branching into the next ventures. From the community positioning that will turn out to be a winner, you can then start to create the next resources for your community. So for example, the workshop that I created ads for today was created based on my winning community positioning and quickly having to deliver on the promise made here. So that's the next step that you would want to do for the content then as well. That's how you're shaping the community in the right way and how you're also getting the engagement, because you start to create the right questions and you start to get the right people in. And then you can start to advertise that, which is basically what I did here today, right? So once you've delivered the workshop, you can use that as context recording. And you don't have to do a live workshop. You can also do a mini course, for example, if you want to pre-record things. But that would be the next step for shaping the community. You really have to find that right positioning and getting as close as possible to product to market fit, and then make sure that the community delivers on that promise from that point. So that's what I would recommend as a next point. And that, again, will also increase the excitement in the community, because now you're creating something new that people specifically want. I do know that, adding a one-to-one client or adding a premium offer can really, really help with cash flow. If you are very, very time constrained, you can also think, instead of doing a one-to-one, to do some sort of group experience, or to do the one-to-one in a way where it's a different type of time commitment. So for example, in the beginning, what I also offered was VIP days. So I would spend 6 hours with a client to go from zero to they have their ad account like set up and their ads launched, right? So what it allowed me to do was I had to get childcare for that time, right? Which was comparatively easier to organize than those like spot sessions. And I had a bigger cash injection, right, that I could then use for the rest of the month for ads as well. So maybe it's a VIP day, maybe it's some sort of pop-up cohort experience. I find personally, like, just working with one person and doing more with them in a more condensed time format, I find that is the easiest. So with your skill set, I believe that this is something you could offer already to your existing audience, and then you only have to get childcare for one day instead of always like spreading it out and having to organize it, and you have that bigger cash injection upfront to keep investing into the ads. For the community excitement, I think a lot comes back to documenting your own process, and just being transparent and just showing what you're working on, how you think. So just being a lot in documentation mode, that's when I typically get the most excitement from my community. And that usually goes hand in hand with doing some sort of challenge, a post on yourself, right? And it doesn't have to be something that takes like a crazy amount of work. It could also be, for example, in your case, I'm already getting a lot of clients from Instagram. So now I'm committing to posting on Instagram once a day for the next 30 days and seeing if it has an impact. And then you can steal my posts because I'm going to templatize them for you, right? So it's that type of like action taking on a challenge that you post upon yourself and then turning the byproduct into solutions for your customers. That is kind of a tactical hack that does create a lot of excitement typically. And then YouTube videos, they help with retention because when people have joined your community, a lot of them get overwhelmed like really fast, right? And then they will go off your community and a lot never come back. But where you can re-reach them is on social media with educational content, so Instagram mostly, and as well on YouTube, because they're like, oh, this lady that I joined the community of, she has a new video, let me check out the video. And obviously the video should be really, really helpful and really tie in with what you're doing in the community. So it basically hooks them back into the community and into doing the work at a lower stake situation, something that they're more willing to consume than, for example, a long course inside of the community. So it gets them much more to do the work eventually. All right, so let me just quickly check in with Emily. Thank you so much for tagging. I'll already talk to Nikki, so we'll make sure that this doesn't happen again. It will always be on YouTube. All right, so the next question that I have here as submitted is from Emily. So that's good timing. So Emily, I'm catching your question around the 41-minute mark. And please keep an eye out, Ruta, on the next Skool news for the changes to the free trial. So Sam will give some some Skool-wide recommendations on that. Okay, so Emily's question is, my current situation is I've been running ads for a 5-day violin flow challenge with an upsell to my $9 violin course with goal of attracting members to my Supercharged Violin online program. My initial ads were successful in getting leads, sold a few mini courses, but attracted no members. Okay, my desired situation is to get my first 100 members and ultimately to 250. I would like to attract beginner violinists, ideally adults who either are totally new to the violin or are returning to the instrument after a long absence and want to start again and rediscover the joy of expressing themselves musically. My problem is I feel like I'm spinning my wheels and recently had a broken pixel cappy issue that I got fixed, but retraining method to my correct audience is feeling expensive, and I'm concerned about my email nurture sequence messaging, which is not converting. I've been sending weekly emails after the initial nurture email sequence. I've met with Adela, who's helped a lot and encouraged me to pursue a 90-day strategy that includes organic social media, activity emails plus ads. My question is, what type of messaging do you think would resonate with this audience I'm pursuing, and any other specific strategies you would recommend I pursue to supercharge this process? Yes. So really excellent questions, Emily. There's two things that I see working really well with music memberships. And the first one is YouTube and just having long form YouTube videos to teach things. And then the second one is people teaching a specific strategy to make it a new opportunity. So I don't want to call out specific members to reveal like exactly what they do. But one thing I think is a good idea is if you can just come to the Skool trending page for music, and you'll find pretty quickly how people are making things into a new opportunity. So I would just come here. This is a great community, for example. He does something completely different than you. So we can take a look at it. So you love worship guitar. And then here you see what he has inside. Okay, this is really very specific to worship guitar. I think this is Adam, yes. So here you see he basically says no natural talent needed. Here you'll find lots of support and tips to improve your singing. I like that he puts a time frame. And he basically really turns this into a new opportunity here. Most singers stay stuck because they only sing in the shower, don't know what their voice needs, and quit before they hear progress. Inside the community, you get a clear 30-day practice plan, live sessions, weekly karaoke sessions to let loose and have fun, personal feedback, exercises for pitch, tone, range, and confidence, accountability to help you stay consistent. So I started as someone people told to stop singing. After improving my own voice and building an audience of more than 500,000 singing, I created this community to help you stop guessing and start hearing progress. So I really like this is a new opportunity because he gives me a 30-day plan, right? So I see kind of what I can do within 30 days. And this is something that we see across the music communities that work well, is they typically give you a new opportunity to learn it, and they also will usually combine it with a specific time frame, right? So here you see go from beginner to pro by learning fun songs in 15 minutes a day while getting feedback on your playing. 30 days, right? So it's like giving them the vision that they will make progress and that this is somehow a new opportunity, I think is what we see working or is what we typically see working really well with the music communities that are really focused on the music itself and that are not, making it music as an income opportunity, basically. So I would really think about how can you make it a new opportunity. So is it going to be a technique you teach them? What can they do in the first 30 days? Can you give them a tangible plan? Those are the things that I would be focused on. My pixel got corrupted and it's fixed. I launched a new campaign to help retrain Meta, but it's not working. Anyway, I mentioned that in my pre-submitted question. Yes, I got that. I think what's a really good sign is that you have sold your mini courses. So I would want to investigate, how did you sell them exactly? Can we replicate that? So if you sold them directly from cold meta ads, that will be a really good starting point. So wherever there are sales or have been sales in the past, that would be a really good starting point for me to see, okay, can I turn this into an option offer, for example, sell the mini course or for free in the membership? And then also, again, the membership should be positioned as a new opportunity for them to learn it. And YouTube for sure. Like, that's a big, big one in your niche. We have a few questions here, so let me go through them also in case Emily wants to add something. My club disappeared in Discovery because it's German. Before it was shown as second. I'm wondering if I should start a new community in English. What is your advice? It's only disappearing, I think, for you. Maybe you have your laptop set to English. So what's basically happening is that on Skool now, when somebody is searching, it will go for their default language. You see here? So everybody who speaks German should see should see your community relatively high up. And most of your people will have their browser to German settings. So it actually probably is an advantage for you. I would not switch to the English market. What should be a cookie versus a new school? I run a Substack studio for neurodivergent women, thinking about a daily ritual school or writer's workshop school for a similar but not identical audience. What should be a cookie versus? I think you would always want to test as lean as possible. So I would first have it inside of my community and launch it in there and advertise it in there to see if it converts. And if it does extremely well, I would break it out. So going in, you can say, hey guys, I wanted to try this. I'm thinking about eventually turning this into a separate school, but I want to first, make sure it's super valuable. And I also want to reward you for being a member. So we're doing this in here. Here's what it's going to look like. Then you do it. Then you run ads to it. If the ads to it convert really well, you could potentially break it out into a separate Skool community. But this way you kind of have the lowest risk with it. And in general, I want to say I've made it too complicated having too many Skools. I think it would have been better to just keep things very, very consolidated. But it's just historically how it's been growing. There was no tiers, etc. So I've brought a lot of things back together and consolidated them. I'm on the Skool hobby plan, not planning to change it in the short term until my community grows. Will ads still work without a pixel? No. And I would recommend to, if you want to validate and just get a quick growth spurt, just upgrading to premium for a month. That gives you enough time to do your validation ads and to test different offers inside your Skool community. Then you can still downgrade. But without the pixel, it's going to be very expensive. You're not going to have clear data. Then it's better not running ads at all. With the pixel, the $90 it costs in addition for that month, just because you have proper tracking, you're going to save that in cost on what otherwise would be wasted in meta ad spend. So no point in doing ads without the pixel, really. There's some long-term strategies you can use if you, for example, are strong on Instagram, like some workaround strategies, but they still are not going to be effective for validating the positioning of your community and the strength of your in-Skool offers, for example. So you're always going to operate a little bit in the dark. And I think that's very costly. It's very, very costly to not know the truth about the strength of your positioning and offer, because you kind of always are maybe you're not even second guessing it. Maybe you're just working harder than you need to. Worst case, you keep second guessing it and you keep changing things without any data direction, which is really, really hard, right? I've been running so many ads. You would think by now I know what will perform. No idea. No idea. It's like going to the casino, black or red. It's just the market will tell you. And that's why I'm kind of also so, sometimes, I love giving feedback to people. And at the same time, I don't like it because our members post in the community, or even in the Skoolers community, it's even more, what do you think about my banner? Who cares what I think about your banner? I'm not your ideal client. I'm just one person. My opinion, worst case, leads you down a really bad path, right? Only the market will be able to tell you. And this is why it's worth paying for that insight. It's like people are scared of ads, but think of it, if there was a website that could give you a detailed report on how strong your offer is, and it would be, what is your average community? It would be $100 to get a really detailed report on how does the real market react to your offer. I bet most of us would buy this, right? It's just because it's ad and it's scary and we don't know how to read the results, but that's basically what ads are. They're a detailed report about how strong your offer is, and with $100 you can figure it out. So I would always do that. Okay, we already talked about that. How do you deal with these very random Facebook bans and rebans? Is there a hack to get a real person? Is it worth trying Reddit ads? I don't think it's worth trying Reddit ads, and it's like a very different setup. I did have a person, but I lost them. It's like actually a thing. If you have a good rep on Meta, they can help you. And sometimes you lose them because Meta rotates them as well. So, I'm partially running ads under my dad's profile, under my husband's profile. Now I have mine back, but I don't know how long. So that's just the reality of Meta. And it's even more crazy right now because they have so much AI involved in it, and the bans are just not justified. And even my rep confirmed that. He said, yeah, it's just their AI going rogue. There's like no other like rhyme or reason to it. It's just that they don't have it under control. And so it's just something to deal with. And the easiest way is to use other accounts, trusted people in your life. And if you ever have someone, then of course, you want to maintain that relationship really well. I did have someone, now not have them anymore. But but I always keep my eye out to have like really good connections to reps. And every quarter you kind of get new reps across like different accounts, and so I'm always on the calls with them. I'm always trying to see how competent are they able to help, etc. And if I have someone who is competent and who is able to help, I'm coming with all my account issues like from all sides, and then they're often able to undo like a few months worth of meta damage and get some people rolling again. That's just the reality of the game, unfortunately. I started my third community based around occupational therapy for school-based practitioners. It's based on fine motor, cross-motor skills, worksheets, templates, etc. Do you think this could do well? Again, love. Yeah, I mean, I do think it could do well based on what you shared. It's a clear niche, it's tangible value. So from everything I've seen, I believe it can do well. But again, you've got to do your validation ads, because only the market will be able to tell you. Awesome. Thank you, Ruta. I have a similar follow-through problem with my paid community. My community is for special needs moms and family caregivers with limited time and energy and on a micro budget. What do you suggest I do? I think when you are in that situation, the best thing I can advise you, or would help me there, and this is how I ultimately became low ticket, was everything I do in a way that I try to already create a marketable byproduct, right? So I guess that you are doing this because you are either in that situation or you work with women in that situation. Try to productize every single piece of work that you do, and then try to make that offers that are inside of your community. So, I'm not sure if you're free or freemium, but then I would probably do a freemium with a premium tier or a free trial, and I would market those micro solutions with a small budget and test them. And typically you'll see one of the micro solutions is something that people are willing to pay for, and you'll be able to start running an ad to it, almost profitable, like breaking even in the second-ish month. Once you're at that point, you'll be able to really grow very consistently. But that would be what I would be focusing on, is like, I need to make an in-school offer so tangible and so helpful and really like solving a problem that people are willing to join the community just to get that. And then I can have that running all the time. Awesome. Hi, Evelyn. I just joined your community today. Thank you and welcome. I'm midway through the relaunch course. I already know my school niche and have some educational videos ready, but I have 0 members. How to start? Excellent question. So I would love for you to just continue going through the course, and then the next step in your progress would be the positioning challenge. So this is where we're then, after you have finished the relaunch course, right here, I would love for you to go through the positioning challenge to validate your community positioning and ideally get the first members. Also, please, if you can, right, use the allies post to get the first people into your community. Something I talk about all the time is to have traffic allies. If you have a group that's completely empty, even if you have like a really good offer and you run ads to it, people are very, very reluctant to join. If there are already a handful of people in there, we suddenly see performance massively increase. And that's just because it's not so scary anymore when there are people in there. So try to network in Grow with Evelyn, get yourself a few traffic allies in, and then go for the Skool positioning challenge, validate your positioning, and then, keep going from there once you have the validated positioning. So that would be the next step for you to follow through. I'm teaching teachers how to train their students in attention and concentration. Organic Facebook ads aren't yielding much fruit. How can I grow my Skool community and attract awareness? So the main traffic channels for Skool that are working really well is on Skool, in communities where your ideal client is. So here you want to think about being an active member in communities where there are teachers and genuinely providing value and connecting with people. The second one is YouTube, long-form educational content from your actual experience that perfectly fits into your community, and with that also makes community content that retains members. The third one is Instagram. Posting organic educational content on Instagram is one of the biggest conversion traffic sources for a lot of people on Skool. And then we also have the meta ads, right? So those are the main traffic sources that people are using to grow their Skool communities, and focusing on traffic is where it's at when you want to have members. That's also why Sam included the traffic numbers in the new Skool games, to help people understand you need to drive traffic if you want to have members. And these are the channels that I would be focusing on. And when I say I would be focusing on, is I would go with which of these channels comes the easiest for you and is the most sustainable for you. And then I would go all in on that channel until I have a habit with that channel and I can sustain it easily, right? And I know what I'm doing with that. Then I would add another channel to the mix. And you are having such a beautiful niche topic for a very specific audience. You also want to think about, when you are in other communities where there are teachers, to do some sort of joint ventures. Try to participate in summits if they exist in your space, which I believe they do. So I would connect with other teacher communities and see if you can do, a guest speaking gig where in exchange, they can post your affiliate link there. So try to also do collaborations in your space and try to borrow other people's audiences. Thank you so much for the skill, but I have been working as an English teacher for the longest time. I just that now I'm taking things online after a big break. I had a baby. Okay, first off, congratulations on the baby, and that's also beautiful that you know your niche already. With language skills, it's very similar to what I shared about the music skills. People typically want to see a time frame and a new methodology to make things work. Corporate English is also a good idea. Corporate English for Spanish speakers. Very cool. Very, very cool niche. I'm such a noob at everything. I only have 100 followers. Plus, I'm not my target, so I can't position myself as the model. Yes, that is true. When you are in that situation, but you are convinced that this is the niche that you want to do, the best thing to still be able to role model is to get a guinea pig client. Even if you give that, away for free, how you're helping them, try to think of a beta you can do with them. It's like, okay, this is a Spanish speaker. They want to learn English for that reason as quickly as possible. And you're trying to speed run getting them there. So what are all of the things you're doing with them in order to help them? And then you can report from that journey. So that is, if you're not able to role model, that's the closest thing to role modeling you can do. And that is also very effective. So basically you're already making the case study with the client. That is something that I would 100% consider doing to get you the right type of content and to get the idea for how you need to shape the curriculum faster. I sold the mini course in my free option funnel. I don't know what a free option funnel is. So I would love to know more about that funnel. If you have a link, my love, I would love to see it. And also tell me how many you sold, please. Should we turn off our campaigns after we pulled out the winners to the scaling campaign so we can test new angles due to budget? Yes, if you can't let the campaign run because it is the overall campaign cost is above your target CPA, then yes, I would turn it off. What tips to retrain on Meta? Just turned off a campaign last night because the numbers are still not realistic. How do I get out of the loop? Thank you so much. Unfortunately, the only way out is through more ads for even better offers. And making sure really every ad is your best shot in the sense that it very clearly calls out the audience. The offer is extremely compelling. Those are the things that I would really be focusing on, and I would only be focused on sales campaigns right now. Awesome. Thank you. Hi, Nikki. I'm a VIP. Can I ask a question here? Of course, Pavna. Yes, I'm a special needs mom. Yeah, so you probably have already a lot of things. It's a $9 community. Yeah. Okay, so in your case, you want to think about it almost like productizing in a way people would on Etsy. So you see there's digital products on Etsy like special needs care and support binder, all about me special needs, right? So I would look here and I would see what type of digital products are working in the space that you can create genuinely also from your experience that have been valuable for you. And I would start advertising those and say, hey, get this free now, or get this now inside the 7-day free trial, inside my $9 per month community for special needs moms. So that way you'll test different offers into the free trial, and eventually you'll see which one converts best into the free trial, and the other ones you can give through the new free trials paywall, where it's like, oh, you also want to unlock all of these other resources, upgrade now to directly paid. That would be my approach if I was in your shoes. I would almost see it like I'm building out like this store with these tangible items for people. That is often the easiest way to get people into the door and into the community. And once they're in, they see the value way beyond, the tangible resources. And really try to think like, what are people buying that solve problems for them? Good question, but what are non-cringe, non-promotional engagement tasks posts we can create in other people's communities to connect and create value? Yeah, so I always think it's extremely important to be respectful of the community owner space. When I played the Skool games, I used the back then games community a lot for exposure. And basically, what will be welcomed in that space is showing how you have used what is being taught in that space to get the outcome that the space is wanting, right? So, for example, inside of Grow with Evelyn, I will be, I will cringe if you post a post about, look at my new Skool community and I'm growing so fast. If there's none like in there is like, okay, so I've been in Grow with Evelyn for this time and I use these specific strategies Evelyn teaches, and now I have this result. I would be always celebrating that. And, I'll be like, I would love if this person is getting some members from it, because this is really helpful. If you are posting inside of Grow with Evelyn, I have made $2,000 with 0 paid ads, and here's how I did it with my YouTube strategy that I'm also selling. I'm going to be like, great, one more time and I'm just going to refund you and I'm going to kick you out, because it's disrespectful, frankly, right? So that is one thing. And then also, if you are doing something that is not at all related to what the community owner teaches, but it's for the same audience, you can also say, hey, you guys know I've been a member, and I owe so much to the community because of these truthful specific reasons. I want to give something back from the thing that I do, because I think it will be relevant for the members of this community for these reasons. So here's what I do, and here's what I would recommend if you want this outcome you do, and here's why why I believe that this is helpful for the community. If you have any questions around that, please let me know. So for example, I did a post inside of I actually should not share this. So there's a platinum community on Skool for creators who have over 100,000 follows right now. And I've been tagged multiple times in the community with an ad question. So now I was like, now is the right time. I've been tagged multiple times. I've been helping out. So now I can make a post where I'm like, hey, so you guys tagged me multiple times with ads questions. I'm super happy to, share everything that I know. And I made a super valuable post where I gave a ton of resources and everything for free. And it just said, if you have any more questions about ads, ask me under this post. I'm super happy to help, right? So instead of kind of spamming into the community or anything, I was just engaging normally with everyone's content. I was congratulating everyone, and I was just being present. When the type of topics came up that I can help with, I started commenting like a helpful post. And then once I started being tagged, I was like, okay, obviously there's some sort of interest. So let me make my own corner within this community under this post where I'm genuinely giving some super serious sauce and resources that I would usually charge for. So I'm actually adding value to this community. And then people can ask questions under there, and it keeps bumping up this one super valuable post, right? But it's not, I cannot go in there and don't engage with anyone, don't contribute, not build myself like a reputation at all and just dump the value there. That would be disrespectful, right? So it's like it's a longer thing, and you should only do that and be in communities where you are able to do this, right, over time. So, and also if that, then when once a community owner has seen you engage with the post, celebrating winners, etc., and then you reaching out, right, after you've been a valuable member, they're going to be open to respond to you. Before that, I'm if I don't know your name, because I get so many DMs every single day. Sometimes I open it, and if I see the name of the person I know from the corner, I can answer it. Some I don't see. We're just working on forwarding it to the team, but it's basically your only way to get through to the person is to be a genuinely valuable member. Or let me put it like this: if the community owner kind of engages with your post and likes it or pins it or comments it, it was probably good. If they ignore it, you probably crossed the line like a little bit. I turned off free trials because the conversion rate was very low, 10 to 20%, and I tried ads to the same banner. It wasn't converting. Now I have a challenge coming up based on the winning message, and I'm not sure what to do. I would turn on the free trial again once Sam has rolled out the features on Tuesday and see if it doesn't convert better for you. I keep procrastinating about starting ads. I really need to do this. I have 2 tiers in my community, 7 and 47, and the new $7. Okay. I also have 2 tiers. Should I be advertising the lower tier first and then looking to get members upgraded? I've got 60 members in the group. Yes, so you always want to advertise the lower tier first, and then people naturally upgrade. So that's what you would want to do. And I also saw that you're in Everett, so I think it should be like a relatively quick setup for you. And Bhavna, I would also recommend go through validating the banner first. So now that you have all of the pieces in place, ideally I would love you in this challenge, and then you see basically from setting up your banner validation ads, this, and then how to read your ad results. That would be the first ad that I would run. Thank you so much. It's what I do in my community, the only business community for special needs moms and family caregivers to build flexible income from home around caregiving life and a micro budget. Looking at Etsy is a great idea. Thank you. Oh, I love that. So this is actually great, a great angle into it. So I would still kind of use that digital product approach, but now, of course, you can also look into other niches, like the make money niches, right? And so it could be things I've sold successfully was a business planner. Business planner would probably be the first one for this specific type of business that I would try. So it would be a business planner for special need moms and family caregivers. That would be the approach I would go with. Just give me 1 second, guys. Evelyn, love your content. I've learned so much from you. Thank you so much. I have a waitlist community with 70 women currently priced at $12 a month, and I grew it in about 6 months. Congratulations. What are the main things I should focus on to increase the price? How do I know when it's the right time? And what price range would you recommend moving towards? Thank you. That's a really good question. So what I like to do is I like to increase the price based on what I believe my ads can handle, right? So my idea is to always start low cost. If I can get purchases consistently, and then I grow in members and I grow in materials, I'll eventually get to a point where I see a second tier emerging, right? Because it's like I have more people in now. We've been doing these things, and this is kind of the premium thing, but I start to see there's like things they need to have before they can do the thing, right? So it's like, or there would be a light version of this. And I typically like to start increasing prices once I start to see a lighter version, because I'm like, if I now increase the price, I could always lower it by introducing a lower tier again. So then I can leverage the price up with price increase launches until I've overshot and I really struggle to sell. But then it's easy because I can just introduce another lower tier again. So that's one way in which I like to think about it. Is like, do I have the materials or ideas for offers to introduce a lower tier? And in your case, with a waitlist community, right, a lower tier can always be a specific challenge, for example. So I think you absolutely have that in place. What I would also recommend is that every price increase launch, you are always communicating as an experiment, right? And you always want to give a reason why. So, for example, this community has now grown to 100 women. There's so much content in there now. It's so valuable. We have all of these results. The price is going up. Join us before date to secure the old price. And then you have the newer price that you're working with. And then eventually you can keep doing these price increase raises every month. I would only raise by $10 because then you're also grandfathering people in at a price where they have something to lose. And then at one point you'll have overshot on what you can ask, and then you can introduce a lower tier. That's how I like to think about it. I have a YouTube video about that on my channel, about how to the pricing for your community. This is where I also where I also break down the strategy about price increase launches. So that one might be really good for you to check out. Here, how to price your membership. So this talks about the strategy of raising the price as well. Should I use Advantage Plus translation for countries like France, etc.? I've heard the translations aren't accurate and I'm selling digital products. Should I add a 30-day guarantee to my sales page? Yes, on the translations, definitely worth testing. Works well for me across multiple accounts. So it's worth testing if it will work for you. And then I always gave a 14-day money-back guarantee on my pages. I think we also tested 30 and we didn't see an increase in conversion rate. But I want to say I've always refunded people that were not happy, even if it was after the 14 days. So in general, guarantee is good. I did not see a difference between 14 and 30 days. And testing Advantage Plus and translations is a good idea. Thank you. I've ads ready to roll. So shall I run a low budget test to the challenge before Sam rolls out the free trial lock? Yes. If you can do a low budget test, I would do that sooner rather than later. How do you balance social media, YouTube, creating resources for the community? I really struggle with managing everything. Yeah, I fully get that. And I want to say that I did need to build up to that capacity for sure. So the first thing that I did was actually making sure my community is validated and I have the vision for my community. What do I want to add next, etc. So I always made that a priority to know what do I need to put in my community. This is also why I started with ads, because the ads would always allow me to test messaging for my community, and based on what the ads would say, I knew what I need to create for the community, right? Because, for example, I did the ads for Grow with Evelyn, and I realized that traffic is a hot topic on the ads. So I made a traffic challenge. Then I ran the ads to the traffic challenge, and I realized that the best ad for the traffic challenge was if you want to fill your school before you launch. So I knew I have to make a launch challenge, right? So it's like the ads basically always were my first starting point because they created the traffic that was more or less independent from my time. It was the quickest to set up and let work for me while I do other things with guaranteed traffic. Because when I post something on YouTube or Instagram, I did not have guaranteed same high quality traffic versus with an ad. So that's why that always was my priority. And the good effect of that is that it told me what I need to create for my community next. So I could check that with members, right? So I'm thinking about doing this. Would you want this? How would you want this? So that would also create the community momentum. And then I knew what I had to build next for that. And as I was building that, it also gave me ideas for what type of content do I need to create that is maybe too much to add it into the membership right now, but it's still kind of important. And I can package it well for YouTube. So that was the next piece that I added. Also because we need this long form video content to really add the trust, especially in my niche, but I think it's true for any niche right now. So then that kind of dictated what I would do for YouTube. Because of what was top of mind there, I did my brain dumps so I could get my viral titles, so I could get my scripts and get my YouTube videos made. It took me about 1 year to get really consistent with YouTube. And during all of that time, I basically grossly neglected my Instagram because it was just too much. I had the ads and the community content, and then I built up my stamina for YouTube. And then once my stamina for YouTube was there, I decided that I have to get serious about Instagram too, because it is like, if you really want to have a strong personal brand in online education, which is what we all do right these days, I think you have to be present on 3 platforms: Skool, YouTube, Instagram, if you want to have a really, really strong personal brand. And I think a strong personal brand is the only thing that's going to lift you and compound long term for you. So I knew, okay, I also have to add Instagram because basically I had very just like, mediocre non-present there. So I just grossly neglected it. And so then I started Instagram in the beginning of the year. I was making such a big drama about it, and I was doing everything but what I was supposed to do. I was even making videos about how I hate making videos. But eventually I got my stuff together, right? And I just started doing it. And the first 3 months I gained 0 traction with it. And then suddenly I started gaining traction with it. And I was like, wow, what everyone says is true here as well. It's just like you have to keep going at it, just like you have to keep going at ads and offers, and eventually you'll find something that clicks. And that was the first video that took off for me. Really was one where I say, if you want to master meta ads, you need to watch these 4 videos. It now has over 100,000 views. It started getting followers, and what happened was all of the other things I did started also getting followers, and every new piece I post since then, it's not taking off that crazy, but they all are working and they all start to get followers. So it also started working there. So, but if you think about it, it's been a journey of now 1.5 years to really also get that organic content and the consistency and the quality where I think it's representable. So it's just a journey to build up to that stamina. And I believe I did it from the right angle, because the ads, all while I was figuring out the other things, the ads kept my main thing, which pays me, which is the community, going, right? And it informed everything else. So they kind of pulled all strings straight, if you want, from that perspective. Incredibly helpful. I find it sometimes so hard. It might be my ADHD brain that it can be very social and at times socially awkward. Yeah, I think it's always, we can always feel awkward. I think there's also tone to every community. Ever ads for the win. I would not consider running ads if it wasn't ready, and I just need to turn it on because I used to take so long. Yes. Now it actually becomes fun. Thank you so much for helping us shaping it. Yes, I have a business planner. Thank you. Awesome. If you have the business planner, like really think about making the presentation kind of next level on the ads of the planner too. I can share some planner ad templates with you. You can use them as a starting point. Where are they now? Come on, where are they? I hope I didn't speak too early. I think these are it. So they should be mock-up style. Like so. You see, like this or this. Oh no. And then I think I also had other ones. You can, of course, also take inspiration from Etsy. So, business planner mockup. So, like these, for example. Really try to make it as tangible as possible. And you can also consider doing it as an artifact too. Yeah. We're actually doing pretty well. We crossed over 10,000 in monthly recurring revenue. So that's been doing really well. We're at almost 12,000 now with our ads, which is pretty cool. And we did do a lot of improvements. So yeah, I should definitely do a new episode. I'm ready to run my first challenge. How should I jumpstart it, or should I introduce it to my social media platforms? Yes, I would definitely launch it to your warm audiences that you have. And you can also run ads to the challenge. So you basically, if you want to see the challenge ad training we did, here you can see how I helped Ben set up the ads for his challenge and optimize them. And then you also see the implementation calls. So this is promote your challenge, challenge ad setups, challenge ad optimization. So this is how to promote your challenge. P.S. I used Everads to run my last 2 campaigns, and it really liked the tool. The free violin flow challenge link upsells to the mini in a sales campaign, but originally was a lead campaign. Got it. I think your link didn't come through, Emily. Is there training in Grow with Evelyn on validating a Skool community? I'm not paying for premium for Skool now. Can I run validation campaigns without a premium account? You do need a premium account. And I do recommend if you're new to Skool, sign up with the trial for the Skool Pro plan. Then you can basically on the trial validate your community already. If you've already created your community, you might want to consider upgrading to premium for 1 month so you can run the validation campaigns. This Skool positioning challenge, has the complete validation workshop in there. When do you decide to shift from freemium to tiers? I would personally now test if I can make freemium work. Now with the ads, you can optimize for purchase. So I would first do that. And I think if you can make a freemium community work with ads directly, I would not switch to tiers, because then you basically can build a huge audience. At the same time, it's going to be really quality audience and you can monetize. So the first test that I would run with my freemium community is, can I make the freemium community actually profitable with ads? And only if I can't do that, I would potentially consider switching. But then I would also first test which of my in-freemium Skool offers is most attractive and is it cheap enough so that I'll be able to make it work with a free trial offer. Then I would switch. And I would also probably not switch too loudly. I would turn it paid. Your current members, are not paying anyway. And then I would test the results, and based on the actual numbers, I would make the decision. Yes, I think that's a really, really good idea. I did an artifact recently where you can then make it a printable page. So you can print that page as a PDF. And I think what would be really cool is you can maybe have like different segments. You can have them customize it for like their business vision. And based on that, it will assemble like different pages into their own printable planner. That's just something I played around with. Maybe it's not a fit, but in general, the artifact is something that people really, really love as a new opportunity. And then just a Loom walkthrough of that planner artifact, that can be your ad. Hey, thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Yes, I think that's a really good idea. Okay, so I have 2 students who have been in my Gradual Greek membership for 3+ years with almost no charge. They are accustomed to, satisfied with how it was before I started my Skool community. Yeah. And I'm having a hard time getting them to engage in Skool. How did you get your previous members to come to Skool? You mastered this. It just looks like this from the outside, but it was actually really, really challenging. I did have a lot of pushback from my existing community about going to Skool. A lot of people were not understanding the move. They were disappointed. They didn't understand Skool. They were overwhelmed that there's another new thing. So it was a difficult time for me to do that. And what helped was just keep walking the path and keep communicating from that corner. I still have people that, never followed over, but you kind of have to see it as in, there will new audience to be gained. So I think it's just being there and being very present pulls a lot of people that just want to be in your proximity, and mostly like being there and keep making the invitation in a not pushy way. I think that's what works best, but also being okay with some members will never move, and that's okay, you know. And what I also started doing is, instead of making updates in there, I would say, hey, there's a new update in here and you have access to this, so here's your reminder, you have access to this. So that also worked. All right, so let me see. We have a few more questions, quite a few more. So I want to make sure I'm also catching them. All right. Next up, we have Glenn, and I'm answering around the 1 hour 35-minute mark. Okay, so Glenn's question is, my current situation is I have a free community. Goal is high ticket 5K for Amazon FBA mentorship free premium offer. My desired situation is 3 members hop on a discovery call and it's a good fit and they sign up for 1 year group or one-to-one mentorship. My problem is people join and they ghost. I have my email flows and DM automation set, not many replies. My question is, I'd like them to engage, express an interest in joining a group call and potentially applying for membership. Okay, so first we need to see what is, so let me just check out your community, Glenn, and see what I can immediately spot, what we might be able to do. Why did I start Loom? I need to screen share, not start a Loom. Okay, so we have Glenn. And this is the freemium community, I assume. What's your budget for selling online? I'm not ready to invest. Okay, so you're already priming. Okay. Yeah, okay, so this is a big problem here. You will lose a lot of people because you're not instantly approving them. That is one of the first things, because now they're gone, right? So you're already kind of doing a lot of filtering, which I think is a good thing. But at the same time, I would try to get them in earlier. Skool is a lot better with the spam filters, because now they're gone. And then once I'm gone, even if you approve me, the likelihood of people coming back is potentially really, really low. So I would try to do the instant approval and then make sure that they're immediately getting value from the community. They're immediately seeing that this is the right space. I also don't see any socials linked. So let me just see if you have a YouTube channel. I don't think this is you. You need to also make sure in your field that you are adding trust as quickly as possible, value as quickly as possible. So I'd make a YouTube channel. I would have them join immediately, instantly approve them, send them to a case study to instantly give them like a lot of value. Have them go through like, okay, so your first thing is you're going to watch this case study, then you're going to do this exercise, then you're going to post this, and then you'll get feedback, right? So immediately help them with a step forward, immediately approve them, immediately send them to the right piece of content that also gives them more context about you and builds trust quickly. And then have them commit to one small exercise, one small thing, like, you know, researching their product or something that just gets them future pacing into what they could actually do, and then have them post it so you can follow up with them, right? So this is about also creating kind of the right culture and the right expectation. And I would even go a step further and then try to promote what you're doing in there with them. So think about what could be that long form piece that you can put them to, and then advertising that and saying you're getting feedback on it in this community. So how to find promising products in minutes. Yeah. So what I would do is, hey, join my free community where you're getting a case study training on how to find a promising product in minutes. Then you can go and you can look at the product and you can share it with me privately to get my feedback on it, so I can tell you if it has potential or not. So now you're having a reason for them to go in, right expectation, first step taken, and you're already positioned as the mentor where they can seek guidance, and then you can give them feedback and from there start the conversation. That's how I would do it if I was in your case, and I would instantly approve the people. Okay, next question I'm answering around the 1 hour 40-minute mark. Okay, Louis, I'm a musician with 37,000 followers on Instagram, and I've spent 5 years teaching at the University of Music in Vienna. Congratulations, that's amazing. I've led rhythm workshops for companies including Coca-Cola, Philip Morris, Obi, Billa, and others. Now at 58, I create and sell online courses that use rhythm to help people over 40 stay mentally sharp and energized. What a cool niche, wow. My courses are delivered through Systeme.io funnels. My desired situation is I want to generate 6 figures yearly with my online business. Okay. So it's about scaling. My organic strategy isn't working. My Instagram followers aren't buying, and my ManyChat automation isn't producing strong results. I've launched several Facebook sales campaigns. They generated some sales, but need a clear strategy, better tracking of key metrics, and a deeper understanding of what's working and why. When to stop a campaign and how to scale one. My question is, what should I do? What steps do I follow, and what strategy should I use to reach my goal of building a 6-figure business? Okay, Louis, let's do a deep dive. And let me see how I would approach it, right? So let's take an inventory. Okay, we have Louis, and we have Louis on Instagram. Very, very cool. Okay, so is this your right Instagram then? I think there might be a different one connected. Positive drumming. Great that you also have the YouTube channel. Okay, and I would love to see your funnel too. Okay. Rhythm and business, the rhythm inside you. Shop. I am really, really trying to find your funnel. Could this be you? No. Okay. Unfortunately, I'm not finding all of the info I need. Let me just see. Maybe you have a different one, different Instagram linked here. Yes. Okay. So first thing, you need to relink your Instagram on your Skool. Okay, and then from here, we got the free guide. Okay, so now I would also link to this link, not your full website. Then we have a free guide. Wait, before you go, congress on grabbing. Inside you find practical tools. Sharp, focus, energized. Show me for $24. Got it. So you're basically having the freebie funnel here. Then you have an order bump. That's great. And then I'm wondering what comes after it. Okay, so I think if you want to reach your goal, I'm also not seeing in here, when I read your question again, is you have your courses delivered through System. I don't fully see the big picture of your offers, because when you want to scale to 6 figures, we want to see like what is your main money-making offer that you want to scale to 6 figures to. As the main money-making offer, typically in an online info business like ours, you either have coaching, one-to-one or package or VIP day, or a cohort program, right? Or you have a bigger mid to high ticket course that you scale, or you have a community membership, a recurring revenue offer that you scale. So I think first thing that we need to know is what's your main money-making offer. From that main money-making offer, reverse engineered, we need to build the right funnel. Right now you have a freebie funnel, which has a tripwire, which is great. And I love that you're making some sales of it, but we need to make sure that we're really streamlining that process if you want to hit your goal. So first thing I would love to know from you, and you can answer for me down below in the comment section too, is what's the big vision? What's the main money-making offer that we want to focus on selling right now? You already have the existing audience, so we just have to plan accordingly, and then I would launch it to them, and after the launch we're building the ongoing funnel into it. So that's basically what we'll have to figure out, because if your ads are already converting a little bit, that's already fantastic, but ultimately we want to figure out the full funnel and make all of the funnel economics make sense, right? And then it basically, the ads are just the first piece of the funnel. What I'm not seeing here from your question is the big picture of the full funnel. And potentially it's there, but it's just not in the question. So I would just love to see what's the main money-making offer that we want to focus on selling. Everything else I can answer you from that point. All right, so one more question, then I'm gonna pick up another one from the chat. And this is Olet, and I'm answering around 1 hour 47 minute mark. Okay, so Olet's question is, my current situation is that I'm about to launch my high-ticket coaching program and I want to use ads to validate my offer and drive traffic. I want my sales funnel to be like this: ads, free 10-minute video with value introducing the next step, 1.5 hour masterclass. At the end of my masterclass, my high-ticket offer. My desired situation is I want to get the lowest cost per acquisition, 27 to 47 per sale as possible. My problem is I'm not sure what kind of ads would give me the lowest cost and work with the marketing funnel I described above. My question is, what ads would work best? Could a drive traffic ad to my website where the free video is displayed be the most cost-effective option, and then there's an upsell button underneath the next step? Or what kind of campaign objective do you think would suit my funnel most? Okay, so for the funnel you outlined, you would need to run a sales campaign optimizing for purchase, promoting your free video. Basically, what you're describing is a video sales letter funnel with a tripwire offer. So in that case, you want to have a sales campaign, even though it advertises the free video, and you want to optimize for purchase because ultimately you want them to buy the masterclass. Now, the masterclass I would have it for $27, and I would max and I would also add an order bump to increase the average order value. After that, for your high ticket offer, you need to see if usually it will be very hard to sell it directly on the page, depending on the price, right? And the niche and the offer and all of that. What you can test is if a paid call converts better from where you can sell into the high ticket, or if a free call, leading them to a free call after the purchase will convert better into your high ticket. Those are just the thoughts that I have around the funnel. I would make it as easy as possible for them to purchase. And when you're advertising the 10-minute free video with a sales campaign optimizing for purchase. All right. Let me catch a couple from the chat. In my community, I'm afraid I'm offering so much value for free members that no one seems to be upgrading. Any tips for freemium tiers? What should be premium versus freemium access content? I absolutely love this. So when I have a freemium community, in the free community itself, I give my YouTube videos and I give limited time gifts. So it's just my YouTube content basically. And then I gift something where I say, hey, I just created this as a free, it's free for the next 48 hours. After that, it goes into the premium tier. So there's always the gift of them being there. Reciprocity is built up. There is some real urgency around the free content I provide. And then it goes away. So the premium builds up, and I always have a promotion opportunity without extracting too much from the group. That's how I would just do it. Just always keep it freemium, right? Free for a limited amount of time, and then put it into premium. And I would have as little as possible in that free community, only your free content and your presence and the community. Okay? Everything else free, if only for a limited amount of time. Otherwise, it's not appreciated. How do you come up with new amazing offer ideas so often? Thank you so much for saying that and also for asking. It's mostly informed by my ads, because I will keep driving ad variations to my community and the different things inside my community. And when I make ad variations, I try to stretch them into as many potential audiences and pain points, desires, solutions as possible. And then I will have an ad variation hit that speaks to something I could cover even better, even more extensive, in an updated new way inside the community. And that is basically, then I have the exact guidance as in what I need to create next. And of course, I also listen to what questions do people keep asking me, right? What keeps coming up in the community? Where is something still clunky? Or also just from my own work, like what did I just unlock, figure out, what took me a long time to kind of fiddle around with, and now I can just put it as a byproduct for my members, right? So when I make new ads, I always templatize them. When I write new emails, I always templatize them. And people say, oh, this is easy because you're doing something that is you can templatize. But even, for example, best other example is when people are getting in shape. You cook meals for yourself anyways. You're working out anyways, right? You're figuring out, if I'm not doing a workout fast, that I actually have more energy. So, that's something you can productize, like how to eat before the workout so you feel more energy. So it's basically in any area where you're making progress, there will be byproduct that you can productize. I currently have a sales page so my audience can either join the $9 per month community or purchase the course only as a one-time payment if a monthly fee feels too big of a step. What do you think of this? I love option funnels. Sometimes they can take away from the community. So you just want to see if more than 2/3 just buy the option offer. I would think about just including it only in the community. And also, to really make the most out of an option offer funnel like this, you want to have 2 order bumps and a one-click upsell, so you really are getting some good average order value out of it for your ads. So basically your ads for the community should ideally be paid month 1. Then you have a really good option funnel. All right, so let me answer the next question in here by Edward around the 1 hour 53-minute mark. Okay, Edward, what you get from me? Let me see. My situation is that we are about to finish the first year of our Skool community, Legal English Academy, and have recently added $5,000 MR. Congratulations. We have students from around 30 countries, and about 50% of our free trial members become paying members, so we know the product delivers strong value. That's amazing. My desired situation is to build a sustainable meta ads system, also English for legal, very, very smart niche. Build a meta ad system that consistently spends around $100 a day while maintaining profitability. We also want to significantly improve our visitor to trial conversion rate by optimizing our funnel and offer. For you, you need to pay attention next Tuesday on the Skool news. My problem is that our meta ads have never been consistently predictable despite testing different campaign structures, objectives, creatives, and targeting strategies. At the same time, our website conversion rate has remained between 0.4 and 1.1%, and we're unsure whether we should continue sending traffic directly to our Skool page and build a dedicated landing page first. I would 100% keep running ads to your Skool community. My question is, what meta campaign structure would you recommend today for a niche global education business like ours? And what are the highest impact changes you would make to increase our conversion rate from both the landing page and funnel perspective, as well as the overall offer? Really cool questions. I love it. Great work, and I love to dive in. Now, one thing I want to say is, I know for us, $100 a day in ad spend is a lot, but I want to say for Meta, it is not. So at that low flame, you will always have a lot of inconsistencies. It starts to be more consistent around $500, $1,000 spent a day. So this is a feature, not a bug, just because it tries to, at that low flame, it tries to always find you the cheapest purchase as possible, right? Which is good, but it also can lead to the inconsistencies. Now, also, you have a membership. This is $125 a month. So I would want you to spend at least $125 a day, ideally $250 a day on your ads to get to a better place. Otherwise, you're spending less than what one purchase at break-even rate would bring you per month, per day on Meta ads. So you could get less than one sale, which of course then it does not have enough data to actually optimize the results. Your setup definitely needs to be sales campaign, optimizing for purchase, all your countries, tier 1 countries, completely fine. Other than that, open targeting. First thing I would want to make sure is that you are validating your banner and you're trying to find the best positioning and angle into your community possible. And yes, learn legal English might already be, the best positioning, but maybe it's not the design, and maybe there's a different way to say it. Maybe there's a small things that they're falling over, or maybe there is, maybe it's a specific situation. Maybe they need to learn it for a certain exam or for an upcoming trial or whatever. I don't know enough about your niche, but there could be a more effective messaging here, and I want to make sure that you are hitting it so that we can pull all of the other pieces of the sales page straight. So what I would love for you to do, if you can, listen through the positioning challenge, and next run your banner validation campaigns, because it will give us the blueprint and the direction for how we can shape the about page so that we get better conversion rates. And when you're doing the banner tests, you should do 3 days at $100 a day minimum for the banner tests. So that's one thing. Now we have professional legal community confident with client participate. See, because it could be that most people want this, or more people actually want to draft contracts. I would also want us to think about these things as in different type of ads that we're running into the community. This is great that you have contacted us on WhatsApp. Very cool. Okay. Yeah, so I would also want to see, like, these as option ads, right? So it's like learn English for employment and labor law. So I would love to see those broken out. See, probably you've mostly run ads to the community itself, not necessarily the things inside the community. Also, this I find a little bit overwhelming. Also, really, really worth testing different about page videos. This is relatively long. Yeah, so what I would do is I would record different variations of this video. One is just a walkthrough, one is testimonial based, right? So different video sales letters, and run those as ads and see which one is getting the most reach, most clicks, most conversions, and make sure to put that as your video sales letter. That's going to help also massively with the conversions. And potentially breaking it down to the different professions. So this would be, if you are a family lawyer who needs to learn English, this is for you. If you're this, if you're this type of lawyer, if you're that type of lawyer, those are ads that I would definitely test. So I think first step is validating your banner. Second step is validating your about page video. Third step is advertising the smaller units inside of your program, right? And then also trying to you can do amazing things making educational ads. So it's basically where make me say this, not that. Real script for a lawyer teaching English to lawyers, right? So it's like you can do so many short form content as well. There's like specifically saying, don't say this, say that, right? So those are some that are performing extremely well. It's also going to help you with the cost per acquisition. So you mostly need to focus on a creative. So example, don't say we did a contract, say we drafted a contract. Don't say we spoke about the case, say we discussed. Don't say we will do an appeal, say we will file an appeal, right? So just this type of educational content will really, really help you to scale the ads. Let me just give you an example here. So for example, the dictionary, right? Or so this person says it wrong, this person says it right. And then there's levels of English, for example. Let me see if I can find it, my triple clone. Or is it still in trial? So, this person says it wrong, this person says it right. I think it was this one, yeah. So beginner, intermediate, pro, and they say different things in English. These type of ads, I think, will also crush for you. So your campaign setup is completely straightforward. Ideally, validate now with $100, fix the banners first, then the same goes for the videos. After that, once you have the best community position and VSL there, please focus on higher daily budget. Ideally, you go up a bit. If 250 feels too scary to move right away into, you can first do 150, 200, then 250. Obviously, we'll want to see the return there, right? But I believe that you will get much more efficiency at that price because Meta will have an easier time optimizing. And then your full focus needs to be on the creative, making ads from things that are inside the communities. You can strip the transcript of a lesson and go to, for example, Notebook LM and say, make me an infographic about this. So for example, one of my best performing ads at the moment, I just put the traffic challenge lesson into Notebook LM and I said, make me an infographic from that. I actually just as I'm speaking this out, I'm like, I need to make more of this. So, make infographics from your lessons, and then also please make those educational pieces of content and add them to the mix. They'll add a lot. Add lifestyle images of you with long form direct response copy. Here, make sure that it's written in a beginner friendly way. I always recommend never doing these above fourth grade reading level anyways. But you really need to triple down on creative diversity and make sure you have a new batch of ads ready to launch every single week. Then I think you'll be very much able to do it with this offer. It's proven and it's really great, and you have a very, very cool audience as well. All right, so next up we have Kathy. And I'm answering Kathy's question around the 2 hour and 5 minute mark. What you got for me, my love? Okay, my current situation is that My current situation is I had a member buy my regulated room course on Skool, and then they asked for a refund because they didn't see order bumps available on Skool like on my website, and they wanted both bumps with the course. She posted in the community that she was frustrated and confused. Okay, my research situation is to give customers a similar experience with my order bump offers as I strategize how to bring my suite of products to Skool. My problem is I'm not sure how to set up the order bumps in Skool. I know they don't have the same structure at the checkout. My question is there a workaround you can suggest for giving them the bump options when they purchase a course or even a membership itself? Thank you. So in Skool, you cannot give them the bump option, unfortunately. But what I do for the order bumps I have in funnels outside of Skool is that I also have those set up as classrooms that can be bought inside of Skool, and I zap them into that Skool classroom, right? So I just unlock that specific classroom for them, and they can just purchase it in the Skool as well. So unfortunately, in Skool, we can also not do the limited time discount. We can only do it in the order, like in the same way we have it as the order bump. It's like, you get, it used to be like this, but now it's that. But you cannot give like a limited time discount or anything. So unfortunately, that's the only way to set it up, is to have it as a separate paid classroom in Skool and let them know it's there. Other than that, you only can have the order bumps in the funnel and then zap them into those classrooms. Unfortunately, that's one thing that I really hope we change. Would also massively help me with the ads that I'm running to all of the Skool communities for Skool itself, but we will have to see. Okay, next up we have at the 2 hour and 7 minute mark, Anna. This is interesting. I don't have this here in the community. Yeah, I can't find the name. Second one today, so that's interesting. Okay. Oh, let me actually see the email. There you go. Okay, different name. Okay. Anna Mercedes, there you go. My current situation is I'm going through a profound transformation after my parents' passing, which cost me an extreme emotional and mental and physical burnout, trying to figure out my new message, personal brand, after having one for 30 plus years, and how to monetize it. My desired situation is to return to my book writing process. My last published book, fourth in 2019 with Penguin Random House, trying to figure out if a low ticket membership is the best way, or what is the best way to monetize my message as a book offer. Got it? I do not feel connected to my old message anymore, which I shared for 30 years. So I'm trying to confirm if what I have been creating is or not right now, going through the replay of the vision board workshop with Evelyn. What path to choose to monetize my message? I do not want one-to-one coaching anymore. Got it. How do I confirm if what I'm working on is my new core message and personal brand, and make a smooth transition from the old message to the new one? Is a low ticket membership a good way to go if I want to position myself as a book author? Okay, beautiful questions. So I would love for you to go for the Skool positioning challenge. Not because I think, you necessarily need to start a low ticket community, but just because it's the most efficient, quickest way for us to truly find and validate your messaging. So we're basically going to set up your Skool community. I would just at the moment set it up as a free or freemium community. Again, I completely understand you don't want to sell any one-to-one coaching. So just have it a free community, put the freemium price, and then on the premium price of the freemium, you're just going to put $9 access to all future classrooms. So pre-sale $9 access to all future classrooms. So you just cast that there will be something coming, so you can optimize your ads for purchase instead of for complete registration. And then you're going through the positioning challenge. You're putting up your banner and you're putting out your best guess about the positioning. And then you use the actual data that is coming back from the ads to see if this could work or not. And then you do have your community starting to build up, which is now an audience around that new validated messaging. And now you can decide how you want to monetize. If that is, instead of one-to-one coaching, a paid workshop, right? Or if it is a pop-up cohort, or if it is, a masterclass, or if it truly should be a low ticket community based on tools and trainings and lessons you're building based on that new messaging. So I think it's for you the best way to see, can I build a high value, because it's sales campaign optimizing for purchase audience around this new positioning, right? Is it viable? Does it have product to market fit, at least somewhat? And then, okay, now that I know I am able to build that audience around this positioning, now how do I want to monetize this audience? It just makes sure that you have the key question answered, and then you still have options to go from there. That's why I would love to loop you into the positioning challenge. I'm going to leave a link for you there, because that's going to be the fastest way for you to figure out if what you do has legs and where to take it from there, right? So you basically are just seeing it as you're just validating this new messaging, and then you still then you have the audience, and you can decide where you take the Skool setup, right? If you want to take it low ticket, or if you want to do a pop-up program or a workshop or a masterclass, right? Whatever container you then choose, you will have gathered the right audience around the positioning that actually was able to attract the right type of people. And it will also allow you to shape it. Okay, so next up we have Danielle's question, and I'm answering around the 2 hour and 13-minute mark. Okay, so my current situation is I launched my Skool 3 weeks ago as a free and promoted it to my list and with some validation ads. I grew to 142 members and it's still going well. 78 engagement, 34 conversion rate, and the ads got free registrations at just over $3 and about 6 registrations from the Skool network. That's really, really good start. Since I want to take advantage of Growth Boost and I would like to have MRR, I switched my group to $9, no trial, 3 days ago, and I have not had any signups since. My ranking has gone up. I'm on page 1 of many for my keywords, and I've seen my community in the Skool Growth Boost ads. That's amazing. I would like my community about page to convert to cold traffic so that I can run ads myself and so that it converts from Skool Growth Boost ads. I want to eventually have a large group of members at $9. I don't have plans to raise the price and upsell into my 47 per month membership. Yeah, I love that. Great setup. More access to me with calls in a private group and my one-to-one. Perfect. Okay, my problem is I know it's early to tell. I only switched to paid 3 days ago and I've had only 95 about page views since I switched, but I'm nervous that something is wrong and that it won't convert to cold traffic. So I'd like your feedback on it. Absolutely. Can you give me feedback on the about page cover and description and suggest any changes? Should I turn on free trial? I would love if you could test it. How do I know if it's not going to convert? Should I run validation ads at this point? That would have been my next suggestion, to be honest. But, I'm still happy to take a look. Like I said, it's always will have to be the market. Okay, coaches course creators on online business for beginners. Turn your idea into income. Okay, launch, grow, and scale your online business with simple steps, beginner-friendly tech training, marketing strategy, time-saving templates, quick wins. Yes. So yes, I would love if you can go through the positioning challenge and see what is your most effective banner. Just because it's a bit broad here right now, so I'm just not sure about it. I would just want to see the data and see if there's not a better version. So I would go and I would make my variations of this. Going through the positioning challenge and the about page glow up. So this is basically where I would want to see you right now. I have a feeling it might be a bit too vague. Stop staying stuck. Go from idea to income with a clear path. Info is free and infinite. Direction is rare. You don't need more courses. You need to know what to do next. Okay, so let me see the roadmap. Foundation lead magnet traffic tripwire affiliates backend offer. I like it. Build funnels that work, right email. So see, for example, I don't see this here. I would want this also to be seen here. I think maybe, I don't know if you can even have this like as your first funnel challenge or something like that. But before we're building something in there that we're going to advertise as a cookie offer, I would want to validate this. I'm not 100% sure about it. I now see what you do, and I'm not sure if this does it justice. So, because I would now be like, are you teaching me to coach or, like, I would just want to validate if we cannot say it like more directly. So next up, I will do banner ads. So then you also have the best one here. And that's also going to help with Growth Boost too. Okay, let me see. Then I have Doreen around the 2 hour, 18-minute mark. Two-hour and 18-minute mark. There you go. All right. Good to see you too. So, I currently run a high ticket annual one to one coaching business for established entrepreneurs, CEOs, executives, mainly acquiring clients through my LinkedIn with a network of 10,000 connections. I now want to move beyond the time for money model and build an international English speaking school community for female entrepreneurs. It would be an implementation and accountability community, helping them execute their growth plans and become more successful in sales, improving their own sales activities and process to generating more opportunities, and where relevant, building a sales team. Okay, very cool. If your goal were to build a 7-figure community business today and you had my assets, 10,000 LinkedIn network, authority, and extensive coaching expertise, but no existing audience specifically for this new offer, what exact steps would you take over the next 90 days? And what would you deliberately not do? Okay, perfect. So I would deliberately not build it out just yet. So I would want to find what is the most marketable right now. So I would go with I would basically try to pre-sell a community as quickly as possible with Facebook ads, and I would make as many iterations as I can until I have something that converts to cold traffic. And I would make different hypotheses, right? So about what specifically will sell. So if I was in your shoes, probably I would be like, I've been selling a high ticket one-to-one annual really well from my LinkedIn context. I know how to sell on LinkedIn, so probably I would want to I would want to test if I can sell that. That to me, like immediately from what you shared in that context, I'm like, this is probably like my most marketable thing here. So I would probably advertise a community with that angle. And I would say, just like I did with the educational creators, I would just put, hey, upcoming workshop, how to do this. And then I would run an ad and I would see if I can get people to sign up for it. If I have completely no audience, the only thing I would consider is, would I do this? Would I do it right away? I would either do it as a freemium and I would have the workshop replay and resources as the tripwire, or I would do it with a free trial. Free trial would be even stronger indicator. Freemium would already be great, and I would not have to start. Yeah, I would probably do freemium because I wouldn't have to start the next test from zero. I would probably already have a few people in. So I would probably put it as a freemium, tripwire the replay of the workshop, and then I would see if I can get sales or not. And then I would repeat that process until I have something that's really hitting, in a sense of I do get a really cheap member in, and I do get sales, and it would be a sales campaign optimizing for purchase. And then that topic that is like really hitting, I would make that the main community topic. Then I would run more validation banner ads until I have that one. And then I would start to add those like workshops to the classrooms and service the community. That would just be my main focus, would be making it, validating it towards cold traffic and building out whatever is in demand there. And I would not do anything else but this. And I would just also make small tests. So I wouldn't go crazy and spend $100, every 72 hours. I would basically say testing budget between $15 to $50 max, 150 per test balloon, and test balloons until it clicks. So next up I have Nilufar, and I'm answering around the 2 hour and 23-minute mark. Okay, so my current situation is I have 0 audience, no IG following or email list, and I want to get new clients for my Done For You service landing pages and ads for small and medium-sized businesses in Germany and Austria. My desired situation is to get new clients inbound for my Done For You service, which is 2,000 setup fee and 1,000 monthly retainer. That's a high monthly retainer. Or are you doing ads as well? Yes, ads. Sorry, that's okay. Very okay. My problem is I don't know which path is the best to reach my goal. As a low or any other. I already spent 400 euros to sell a micro offer for $12, but it did not work. My question is, with zero audience, what path would you recommend me take? Thank you. So when I sold websites and the advertisement services, I was getting a lot of business, just, word of mouth. And I did a lot of Upwork and Fiverr. So I was just getting first clients there. And then from those clients, I would get more clients. That's honestly what worked the very best. Everything beyond that was tied to building a personal brand. And that's probably going to be the long-term answer for you, is that you will want to build a personal brand. So for an SLO to convert into a premium customer in that niche can be very, very expensive. So what I would probably do is, if I was in your shoes now, I would actually start an Instagram, and I would be like, so, day one of overhauling as a stranger's business website, and then I would be like, so this is the before of this website. Here is exactly how I would design it. And these days, my love, we can do this so quickly with Claude, right? So it's like, here's how I would redesign it. These are the choices that I would make based on these reasons. And then let me know how you did. And by the way, if you want help with your business website, just shoot me a DM. So I would make a few videos like that. And then I would also probably tag those businesses, right? Or I would maybe send it to them if I was too shy to tag them. And then I would run an Instagram traffic campaign to my profile. And I would specifically in the ad copy say, if you are a business owner looking for help with your website, and if you're a small business owner in that niche looking for help with your website and ads, then follow me and reach out. And then I would reach out to every single follower that I got, and I would try to sell them in the DMs. So I would go after one specific niche where I have the most prior experience. Let's say I would go after coffee shops. Then I would go specifically after their websites, ideally in my local area, because people are less reluctant if they can also meet you in person. I would make it really visually stunning, like their website, how I would redesign it. I'd probably even consider the ones that I did it for just gifting it to them and saying, hey, I already did it. You might as well just have it. If you know anybody who needs help with their website, please think about me, right? So I would just do that. So to build up my portfolio and credibility, and then I would run an Instagram traffic campaign and I would sell it inbound. It's probably what I would do. Gonna give you long-term much more bang for the buck than trying to make a slow funnel work. It's going to be really, really difficult. Slow funnels are still a good option in online education space. But it's just hard to make it convert into a done for you ads or landing page offer. Okay, let me just see if I have Amanda's email here. Then I have answered all of them. Oh, Amanda Schoenberg. Yes, now I know who we're talking to. Okay. And I'm answering around the 2-hour 28-minute mark. Sorry, now I need to look again. There you are. I already have my membership, but it's not on Skool. I love your trainings where you share to focus on highlighting courses within your membership, not just pushing the membership as a whole. Yes, big game changer for me. I would like to do this as an offer funnel, but unsure how. Do you still think offer funnels work, as I know you used the offers before you joined Skool, or do you think there's another strategy I should try? My other thought, since I have a more traditional landing page, was to list the featured courses on the membership landing page. Absolutely. So that's something you can always do. I would love for you to test an option funnel. So the option funnel basically works like this. I'm going to send you an example of that page. So for example, I have this sales page kit that I sell, and then you can see it's an offer from inside Grow with Evelyn, and it says, get instant access for 17 or get this for free when joining Grow with Evelyn. So these still work. They're great. You can add order bumps. Sorry, love. And this is basically the best layout that I found. And the cool thing is, on the one-click upsell page, you can still offer them the membership one more time, right? So these are still great. I'm going to send you another recent one that I did that you can also use as an example. So 100%, please still do these. If you are off Skool, my main thing collecting only payments on Skool is because it helps your ranking a lot with the growth boost. And I'm thinking about eventually just having no websites at all anymore, just doing everything for Skool. That is more like a convenience and a commitment to the platform thing for me. Yeah, because, I want to share and carry the vision in that regard. And there's also really something to be said about just not having outside websites and funnels too much to manage, but it still does work. And if you want to build the pages like this, I did it with the AI sales page kit that we also have in the membership. All right, so I think I'm through all pre-submitted questions, and that means I have a few more minutes actually to catch your questions in the chat. So let me come in here. It's just attempting, still deciding if it's not missing anything. I didn't see the link coming through, love, but it's good that you have order bumps and upsells. Are you by any chance looking for a thumbnail artist? No, thank you. Really, really sweet, but I do have an editor, and he's more like my content strategist as well. Shout out to Ben. So we have to get him on the duty of doing this. Thank you, Sergio. Hi, Kathy. How's it going? When you say we should instantly approve members, do you mean we shouldn't even ask them a few membership questions, including their email, or can we ask a few questions and then auto-approve them? No problem in asking qualifying questions, but turn on the instant approval. So after they answer the questions, they immediately come into the community. Great question. Can I interview you inside my Skool community around your wealth and spiritual journey? Yes and no. I have to learn more about your Skool community to see if it's a good fit. And also, I am a bit tight on time, so you'll have to give me a couple weeks of lead up time, if that's okay. But yeah, let's connect after. If you drop me your Skool name, I can check it out and I can see if it's a good fit. All right, any more questions, or are we truly a little early? Thank you, Emily. Thank you for having you sitting in the room, and thank you for making me aware. I really appreciate it. Gonna give you a couple minutes while drinking, and then if there's no more questions, I'm gonna jump off. Closing tabs. No, love, it's not coming through. I can show you what I see. It's not coming through here. Maybe it's coming through on YouTube. No. We have a lot to work on. Let's go. You said lately that a one-to-one client stopped working with you. Does that mean you have a spot open? Oh, you're so cute. I would in theory, but I have got some news about some health things that I need to take care of urgently. So I won't be backfilling it until I got taken care of. Can you suggest how to roll out the 30% affiliate? Should it be part of the email campaign to bring them over from Go High Level? So I think to make a truly effective affiliate on Skool, because I've been able to look behind the scenes of people who are actually using it really well, you have to train your affiliates. So you have to give them materials, you have to tell them what to do and really equip them. And in the transition from Go High Level over to Skool, I think that will be lost. And it would just, for people changing the platforms, it feels like huge, because everything is new and they're unsure how to use things, and then they get notifications that they don't want to. So focus on bringing them over. And then when you are ready to roll out the affiliate, do it with a bang and give them materials and give them, make it easy. Like, here are things you can say to other teachers. Here is a gift you can give them because you invited them. Maybe there's like a bonus classroom that only affiliates get once they referred their first person and the person that they referred to gave, right? So then we really need to think about incentives and creating all of the resources for them. So we want to be mindful, like really making it a separate campaign with separate resources. I did not see it. Emily and Isabel, can you both just drop the link here for me? It doesn't seem to come through on YouTube. Can you both, under this where it says live Q&A, can you both just drop it here? Then I'll have a look. My Skool community is called Unlock God Mode. It's about unlocking the next level in video game of life. Oh, that's cool. I think I know the community. Is this you? That's a cool way of presenting it as well. I always have imposter syndrome about speaking about spiritual things because I'm a seeker and learner, but yeah, it looks really cool. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You know what, Nikki? I'll put you right to the top there. Okay, lovely. So let me see. Thank you, Emily. I will have to share a bit more about it in the community soon, as soon as I know more. Okay, so Isabel. Oh, this looks nice. Okay, I love it. Yes, very good. Okay, so we have special needs mom or family build flexible income that works around your caregiving life. What is holding me back here is I'm not fully sure in which ways. So if you could give me a few examples here, right? So I've helped women who do X, Y, Z, coaching, online education, or maybe, it's something completely different. To me, it's a bit too vague. And so what immediately goes off of me is like unknown income opportunity. This might be a multi-level marketing kind of situation where I will end up having to order products and, so I would just want to know more. And for some people, that's also okay. But, I don't mean to judge about, things in general that I don't know enough about. But I'm saying that there's a vagueness to it that repels me, and that I think we can save here, like just being a bit more specific in what, because you're very specific about the audience, but you're not very specific about the opportunity. Also anchor this before, and then make the or free with the trial like lower. So this is intentional. I've tested this actually. You anchor the price before, and then they're almost like discovering this, right? So let me zoom in on this a little bit. You see how yours is saying, I want you to start a trial, and mine is saying, this is what it's worth. Here's a sneaky backdoor because you're reading the fine print, right? So it's very, very different, because here it's like you're trying to sell them, and this is they discovered something. So very different effect. I would split test that. Great. Before, after, really well laid out. But I still don't know what type of business, and that makes it feel like I might not be competent enough. I might not know enough. Okay, so that's great. That's what I want to see, like right on top. It's about building a digital product and service business. Perfect. Then, now I'm receiving everything else like with a very, very different frame. Because I would also want to see this in here, because right now you're going into addressing my objections before I'm even sold on the opportunity. Sell me on the opportunity first. Cool. This, just that there's different price points flying around, this makes me a bit, because I'm like, are you going to charge me $100 a year in addition to what I'm paying? I'm not sure if this is helping you. I think this should more be like a point in the FAQs. Yeah, there's so many price points flying around. And again, I'm like, why are you making this so big? This is like clearly worse for you. So there must be strings attached. Versus when you're not primarily promoting the membership on this page, right? So you just want to say it like, my members get this for free, rather than I actually want you like in the membership, because it creates the opposite of that, right? It creates suspicion around like, this is the much better, like, so you don't do the price anchoring, right? And like I said, I would do the discount the other way. You always have to be like a bit, how can I say, if it's like, make people feel smart, right? And if you're making it too good to be true, which actually, you including a $47 course for free in a $9 membership, that's one heck of an offer. But if you're hammering it too much, you create suspicion. Thank you, Emily. I'm catching it. Emily, I'm not seeing it. Oh no. Okay, then I'm catching this one. Okay, so free weekly newsletter for Christian entrepreneurs. What if you could build the business God placed you in? Okay, so this is a newsletter sign up. I would have this stretch all the way to the borders. And my love, I think I would prefer if you had this text here in the text box so I can see you better in the background. Then you also don't have to overlay it as much. So I would probably try to pull this text in here. And I would also try to shorten this. Can you please shorten this text without losing its essence? Yeah, but great work getting the newsletter opt-in page up. Now you're all just dropping your page and I'm like, Evelyn, review this. Okay, I will have to keep doing it until I find Emily's page. Okay, so one thing I can tell you is that we see it converting a lot better when we do have a founder's face on there. So that's something I would consider. Also, try to give people as much information as you can without overloading the banner. So also what came through for me as a winner is a good sign of that. So you see, become a niche educational creator fast, learn how to monetize what you know for $7, start a free trial. So somebody, and then you see this is about Meta, Skool, and there's a bit of AI in there as well, right? And we're obviously doing digital products. So you can see how this gives you basically individual all info that you would need to sign up. And this is also what we want, because in Growth Boost, they won't even see your copy unless your efficiency score is so good that you get a separate campaign. When I make you a separate campaign, I can make much better ads if I have your face on there. So I would want to see that. And here I would want to have just more information. Again, I would love if you could check out the positioning challenge and just validate your banner. Gonna really, really give you an edge. Chosen strategies for reality creators ready to expand their consciousness, step into deeper power. I love this. This is cool. Not sure about the rocket emoji. Don't care about it. Great. This is clear and attractive. I would test a free trial for Growth Boost. So my main complaint here is the banner, that it doesn't have enough information, so it will not be very effective in Growth Boost. But other than that, I think it's cool. I like it. Emily, there you are. Okay, now I'm turning off the comments. Just because I have to go washroom. Okay, so we have the free challenge. It looks beautiful. Get the free week violin intensive course for just $9. And we did have sales from this, so that's amazing. And then I believe you had your upsell page here. This looks great. And this is the membership. Yeah. The $49 price point is a little bit high for people these days. Like even with Growth Evelyn, you see on the premium tier, I'm down to 33. I don't know how many members you already have in there, but it might be easier to start at a lower price point, get more members in, and then start to leverage the social proof. Can you confirm if you ran ads directly to this page and if you were able to get sales when you ran it directly to this? And also, would you have any order bump that we could put here? That would really help with the profitability. Thank you. Thank you, Emily. Yeah, it's super gorgeous. It's just at that price point, like even Funnels and Ads Pro, I had to launch at that price point. It was not possible to have it always open. So I gave the back door on the one-click upsell of the front-end offer. First thing to know would be that did this also convert when you were sending ads directly to it, not through the free funnel? If that's a yes, then we have things we can work with. Then we can add order bumps and we can test the membership as the one-click upsell. Or you could consider lowering the price of the membership a little bit and having this as an option offer into the membership just until you have a certain amount of members. And then you can start the price increase launches. Okay, Emily, I'm not sure if you're still watching. I would love to have the answers to that below. I'm going to check under the post. Feel free also to share the current ad campaigns that you've been running so I can see the ads. Again, sort by the amount of spend and the clicks for me. And then I'm happy to do a follow-up Loom on those things, okay? All right. Thank you, lovely people. I have to jump off and I really, really appreciate you and I see you in the community. Bye for now.